Okay, let's see. We're live. Hello. All right, microphone is working. All good. All right. Well, first, hello there. Been a while. Been a while since I've done a stream here or anywhere. Been busy. Life has been chaotic. So, first, if you're coming in new to listen to this, I'm Zaid Al Shahid, and I do video game art since 2012, I think. Yeah, it's been a very long time. And I do concept art, 2D art for video games in general, 3D art, and I handle game asset pipeline, and I do technical art as well. So it's like anything related to video game art, I jump into it, and I even dabbled in VFX for a while. Uh, so recently, Smarter Every Day, uh, God bless him, he released this video. Says that I tried to make something in America, okay, and it was his journey of trying to create a simple tool, which is a smart scrubber, and basically it's a scrubber that does the job. It does not wear out as quickly, and it does a better job than whatever is out in the market for scrubber for grills. And his goal was to create the the scrubber in the US without providing any kind of tools coming from China, any kind of parts coming from China. Everything he wanted to make was in the US, okay? He wanted the product to be 100% homegrown. And the interesting part, it seems that in this video, and it's in the description in the link, you can go watch it. It's a great video, very informative. He realized that he really cannot. Okay, and at some point, they reached a level where it was like a complete stopper for creating certain tools. Okay, that would help them create molds, and they needed to do injection molding, and it turned out that this discipline is really very rare in there in the US. And it was a very interesting journey seeing all of that, how they ended up facing all of the problems over something that they wanted to create, which is a scrubber, creating parts for the scrubber. Even with the technology of 3D printing now, it seems that at some point when you need to do certain plastic shapes or certain materials, you need to have injection molding, and they don't have that. They don't have the tools to create the molds, and it turned out that there is a lot of R&D required, that they did not have much capacity or find anyone that has the capacity to do it, and they have to order like these tools, these molds from China. And that was like really interesting, because they ended up like, if you're going to be doing this kind of work, then it would have to go to China, and they're going to be, of course, you send the schematics for them, they do the mold, they send it to you. They started noticing what this product is, and then they start to create counterfeit, and they would compete uh with you to uh with whoever is making the tools or whatever the thing is, okay? And they'll make a cheaper one and compete with you in the same market and completely demolish you. So that was an interesting thing. The reason that I find this thing interesting, and it started relating to it, is like, what is this has to do anything with AI? And I started to realize something very, very important, is that if we are going to be relying on these tools that they call they call it tools, the AI, okay, to generate images, to generate videos. And we're going to cut out the camera, the staffing, the knowledge that comes in with how to do the camera. And then you cut out the VFX staff, which you're not going to have people who are doing VFX and everything related to the VFX, the technology that we have been developing in VFX since the 50s and before that. At some point, all of that knowledge will be lost. How do I know that this knowledge is going to be lost? I mean, already we are having some technologies that are like, it feels like it's kind of black magic. And that technology was back in the 60s and the 70s when it comes to the VFX. Okay. And recently, okay, this is after the PBR pipeline. This is for technical people. PBR pipeline for creating textures. It started to dominate the market. Suddenly, you got a lot of people who are finding it easier to make materials or to texture certain objects and using the templates that whatever is provided, or they buy template from someone, and they don't know how these tools actually functions on foundation and fundamental levels. And then at some point, like it's been like few years back, uh, it was very very hard to find someone who does hand painted texture. There are people, and they have to be really capable to do this kind of work, the hand painted texture. And thankfully, TV series like Arcane, when it came out, suddenly there is this spike of interest in hand painted, and more hand painting texture artists started sharing their knowledge, which was super interesting. Sharing everything and putting it out there, and people are learning. And there are great artists from Blizzard. They have been posting a lot of tutorials on how to approach that, and like general share of knowledge suddenly spiked up because it was the popular subject, hand painted texture, how to do it, thanks to Arcane. So, but that discipline at some point it was kind of vague. It was kind of getting lost in there. And if you're asking someone, okay, who's a texture artist, who's just knows how to use Substance Painter, that software, if you ask them to do like, hey, go and make me a texture outside of Substance Painter, I don't want you to use it, they would not know. Many, they would not know. They would not know how to manage a workflow that would be completely outside Substance. And even at some point, I worked with a team that they had a texture artist, but the style that they were aiming for, and I was helping them do, it did not require Substance. It required more of a hand painted approach. So as I was breaking down the texture process to this their texture artist that they have in the team, that texture artist like, I cannot do that. Like, why? Like, you're a texture artist, right? And he said, no, I don't know how to do that. It's like, this is I don't even know how to paint. And that was the weirdest thing at the time when I encountered it. And this guy's like, his resume, he says he's a texture artist, but he does not know how to paint textures. And at that time, texture, hand painted texture was like, it's a thing, but it was on the way to getting lost because of all of the PBR materials are coming in. It's like, I think it was like 3 years or 4 years after Substance was really really dominating the market, and they were really getting into the roughness and the metallic and everything in the PBR, and you would really need Substance Painter to do these things accurately. So suddenly this knowledge, it started to become rare to see in 3D artists, and thankfully to a show, it spiked back up. But here is the thing, it's like suddenly it was like a lost medium at some point. When there is a game that has hand painted texture, people lose their shit. So this got me thinking a lot. It was like, we're relying on this software, only the software, the one software in the market that would provide this kind of materials. And to get this kind of work, like you have to go and buy certain material sets or whatever out there for Blender, for example, or whatever software that you're going to be working with. But usually, like, it's difficult to develop these things from scratch outside of Substance Painter. Yes, you can make it in Blender, but it takes really, really high skilled person to do these things. And when you got a junior level or like a student, okay, it's very difficult for them to get these things right. And on top of things, those students are learning software that they don't understand even on fundamental levels. A lot of terminologies in there, that are tools that are being used in there, are like under the hood. If an experienced person sees them, they understand it. Okay. And if you get out of Substance Painter, for the experienced person, they could develop that in Blender. They could use the same principles, the same tool, kind of similar tools, okay, or more of the foundational knowledge to create textures. But again, that requires a really highly experienced person who knows what they're doing, okay, to get that done. And that started to happen with PBR texturing becoming limited to Substance Painter. That's the popular software that is out there and is doing this thing. So everyone is learning only Substance Painter. And they use the tools in there, but they don't know how these tools work under the hood. I sound like a broken record. So if you take Substance Painter out of the equation, they know jack shit. They don't know what to do. And this reflected what the Smarter Everyday video with them trying to figure out how to do injection molding and how to create the mold and all of that work. They were looking for someone who's experienced and they know what they're doing. And it was super rare. So you have and so we go back to Substance Painter. This Substance Painter is locked to a subscription. But keep in mind, it's still a tool. It's still based on foundation stuff and fundamental knowledge that we could use in different software. If we know what we're doing, we can generate these things and we can do these softwares. We can do, sorry, these textures. But then, okay, so now we have experienced people are able to do that, but juniors and intern level, mid-level, maybe they'll have some knowledge, okay? But seniors are the ones who know what the fuck they're doing. But then just imagine, and this is like Substance was released not too long ago, okay? 15 years ago is not too long ago. I was in college at the time. I was in college when Substance Painter started taking over the market. Okay. And Substance Painter was a one-time purchase before. Now it's subscription. You have to subscribe for it. Okay. And only after the backlash, they allowed, like, okay, you can have a one-time purchase for a certain version. So here's the thing. If suddenly we start texturing, generating videos, generating 3D models, everything all using AI, okay? And we all know, let's not lie to ourselves about making a local version of the AI tools, okay? Oh, it's open source, you can do whatever. It's all about the data set, okay? The one with the larger data set is the one that will be winning that war. There is no way around it, okay? This is, it's like, it's a lie that they keep on feeding to people, that this thing, oh, it's open source. Yeah, it's open source. The tool, the basic tool is open source. is the data set is. It's not. It will be locked behind the subscription, the hardware as well. And they're saying, oh, you buy the new video NVIDIA AI powered card and all of that shit. Okay, still the data set. The data set is what is locked behind the server, and it's out there. So that's what you have to pay subscription to. And if you don't have data set, you cannot pay subscription, you're fucked. And imagine 20 years from now, if AI is going to dominate, that's the market, that's how we do 3D, that's how we do VFX. At some point, camera manufacturer is going to be like the real professional, like video camera is going to be gone. Methods of visual effects development is going to be like black magic. It's going to be gone. All of that, and suddenly we're locked to just using this thing. And we are locking ourselves to just subscription. So here is the thing. This is going to be exactly like we're outsourcing. We're outsourcing all of that work to the providers of the data set where we're going to be using the AI. Either it's image generation, video generation, whatever is going to, this tool is helping you. You're locked on an IV line of constant subscription. You have to be online for these things to work. I come from a place, I live in a place where sometimes the internet disconnects. Power interrupts because there is a typhoon or something. Heck, even the US, sometimes when snow hits, when something happens, you disconnect from the internet. You lose power. Germany's the last year they were having really bad power outages. So this whole thing of us trying to make a tool, okay, that someone else owns, and you cannot do anything if you don't have an internet connection, you don't have money to pay for that subscription, okay? They're going to tell you, no, it's cheap. It's $10, it's $20, it's $100 a month, okay? You think down the line. Don't think now. You always think down the line. What's going to be in 10 years? How much is it going to be? We all know that they are right now, they are functioning on loss. They are having net loss because they need to pivot the market, just like how Netflix did it before. Netflix, Spotify, they were doing it on loss until they kill a certain market, they dominate the rest, and they take everything. Okay. All right, audio is fine. Yeah. So we should not lock ourselves to this, okay? We need to keep on doing what we're doing with our softwares, with our hands. Artists still, to this day, they do traditional art. When you're doing work on a tablet, okay, on this tool, you are still doing the painting work. You're still doing the drawing work. When my tablet broke like a month ago, I had my old tablet. Where is it? There it is. This is my old gal, my Wacom. Okay. So my Wacom, it broke after so many years. I had it since college. I still needed to do work. I still needed to do drawings. I still needed to do character design from my work. And I went back to paper and pencil. I went back to markers. I was doing traditional. And then I take pictures for it. And whatever I can, I use the mouse. Before me getting the tablet delivered to me, I was using a mouse to do some cleanup for my sketches. And then I'm sending it. So I did not limit myself. That knowledge was transferable to traditional. The many years I started on traditional, and then I shifted to digital, okay? And I was kind of strictly working only digital. for my character designs because, you know, papers and the place that I live in, it's very humid. So papers are going to get moist and they're going to get moldy. So I don't use papers. I don't use these things anymore. Not as much. I use it just for recreational purposes. I sketch once in a while. But when the tablet is gone, simple markers, pencil became useful, became handy. It saved my day. I was doing it traditionally until I got my tablet back. But that's what's important. I had the tooling. I have the tooling knowledge. I can go back. 3D stuff, okay, for my 3D work. Give me clay, I'll do clay. I can do it. I just need to get the tools right. But I understand I have the knowledge. I just need the knowledge of regarding the material, how to manage it, and how to do certain things. So this is what is so interesting, is that the current tools that we have, the 3D softwares that we have, the painting softwares that we have, all of these things, okay, are still transferable knowledge if we're going to go back to traditional. But when it comes to AI, we're learning nothing. We're outsourcing the creative part to the AI tools. Whatever you're gonna be telling me, okay? You cannot convince me otherwise that you're typing few words to this tool and it will generate an image and it's like, oh, it's exactly what I imagined. That's not how it works. That's not what you imagined. Maybe your imagination is a lot much more greater than what the AI does. Have you ever considered that? You just need the practice to get your imagination onto something that other people can see. The AI is not helping you with that. And you should not outsource these things to someone that you have to pay money to. When it comes to someone who's not actually communicating with you and they don't care about you. Even when you're talking to an artist, you're outsourcing to a real human being, okay? You're talking to them about your idea. You're talking to them about your project. And that's when you outsource the right artist that you sync to, you have chemistry with. They understand what you want. I worked with a person before. Now we are friends. He gave me this description of what he wanted to do. At first, we did a bunch of sketches to establish a style, to establish a feel based on what he wanted. And after that, once we got the style down, I started doing characters for him. And I did around 140, maybe more, characters for his board game. And through the process, this is what's so beautiful about this. Through the process, we became friends because we have been working for 4 years. And this guy is a really good friend of mine now. If he's going to come to me and ask me, and it's like, hey, Zaid, you want to collaborate for a project? I'll do it on my free time because I like the guy. You cannot do this with AI. You cannot trust a corporate that only purpose is just money, because they will find ways to milk the hell out of you to get every cent and every penny in your pocket. Why do you think that people are shifting to Blender? They are dropping the Maya, they're dropping 3ds Max, they're dropping all of these software. They're even companies now are doing that. They're jumping to do Blender. Why? Because these softwares keeps on milking you with subscriptions. Previously, these softwares, Maya, 3ds Max, it used to be a one-time purchase. $2,000 per license. That's it. You got the software. You can use it for life. But then later on, they started doing some subscription, and they started even introducing some dark patterns. Oh, you are You have the old software, it's not going to work on the new Windows, so we can update it for you. Just connect and pay a small fee, and then suddenly you're paying subscription to that software. And this is a thing. This is a story that happened like a year ago. Adobe locking you behind dark patterns for your subscription. So you were expecting to trust those people who their only goal is money. That's their only goal. They got nothing. And they keep on telling you, oh, it's a great idea. That's wonderful. You're doing great when you're not. It's very interesting. It's like we're giving away part of what makes us through the process of creation, through you doing the work that even talking to someone, talking to another human being, you can develop a relationship with that person. If you're going to be growing into an artist, you're going to see the world in a different way. Your creativity is going to flourish even more because you are doing the creative process. You're not just doing the thinking. While you're doing the artwork, you are thinking about it even more. While you're building this world, you're thinking about it more. Do not outsource this. You might even expand even more on the world you're building, on the characters that you're making, while you're drawing them, while you're creating them. Don't outsource that. We're outsourcing. Chat GPT, give me a character idea about this. Chat GPT, draw this shit for me. Why? You have this here. You have this good old nugget of yours. Use it. There are many sources out there for how to approach an idea, how to design design ideas and characters and worlds. Go play D&D if you want to be creative. It's gonna get your cogs all oiled up and ready to go. So that video from Smarter Every Day, it was such an amazing video. You guys, you have to go and watch it. You have to watch it. It's a very important idea that really sparked a lot of questions in me. Like these questions has been brewing. These ideas have been there. But there is no greater example of what was happening in his situation as he was trying to build this tool. And he realized he's missing the tool that makes the tool. And that is exactly what AI is. You don't know how this thing is going to be working under the hood 15, 20 years from now. You don't have the tools that makes it for you. And then knowledge will be lost to make the tool that makes the tool. Such an interesting thing. And never seen it by example, like such a really honest to God example. It's completely out of the context of what we do. Lost knowledge. All gone. Because a country decided profit first, delegate it to someone else. Delegate that knowledge and work to somewhere else. And Tim Cox talked about this back in 2016. When you have people who are expert in tooling, he said that you cannot fill a conference room in the US. From all of America. You cannot fill a whole conference room with people who are expert in tooling when it comes to creating iPhones or electronics. But if you go to China, you can fill up 3 football fields. And this is a guy who knows about manufacturing because they outsource their devices to China. So he packs his shit and he goes and he talks to people there. And it makes a lot of sense why it's very difficult to create these things. Japan started delegating that work to China. US delegating that work. The world is made in China. If China stops, the world stops. They have the knowledge. They have been building that knowledge for so many years and developing it and teaching it in school, teaching it in engineering school. That is very important. So, same thing, but it's going to be a lot much more darker because there is a chance, like, okay, I'm going to go and study in China. If you want to study, you can go there and start studying this shit. If AI is going to take over all of that knowledge and there is nowhere else to get it, what the fuck are you going to do? You got nothing. For fuck's sake, we got tutorials that are missing now. Tutorials regarding how to do low poly modeling from Newman Workshop. Like, literally lost media now. Unreal Engine 3. Yeah, who the fuck uses Unreal Engine 3? But there are some fundamental and foundation knowledge and function that the software works, and the tutorials, how they work on these building levels in there. It was such an important tutorial. Good thing that my friend had it and he was sharing it with me at the time. And all of that knowledge is being lost bit by bit with the upcoming new engines, and they're providing all of these really bloatware that are coming in. So you get a lot of knowledge lost because now you have this magical button that you press and it will do everything for you. But it's not how game development works. You have to have an engineer who goes in the back of the engine. They know what the fuck they're doing. And those are going to be less and less bit by bit if we're going to be relying on bullshit tools such as AI. Do not delegate intelligence to an artificial intelligence. Do not be lazy about gaining knowledge. You would fail as a human being. Literally fail as a human being. The whole journey of us evolving as humans is thinking, solving problems ourselves. We do it. Do not lose the tool that makes the tool. That is the most important thing. The moment you lose that, you're useless. You cannot do anything. You cannot even make a scrubber. Guess I'm wrapping it up. You have a good night.